Hey guys, got a quick tCMS update here for you, so let's just jump right in. So you can see the first time setup page here for tCMS 2 that has now been ported over to Perl along with many of these other pages. Essentially all you have to do is log in after you've run make install, make depend, and all that kind of stuff on the makefile for tCMS, and it just gets you right here to a tCMS login page, which now has a little register button. Essentially, if you don't have any users set up, whatever you paste in here is going to be actually accepted. So let's just make ourselves a bogus user with a bogus password, hit register, we get a successful login, and it puts us out here at the configuration page. So as you can see here, we're on the default theme. We can go over here to home and we can actually see tCMS itself. We've got a few bogus posts here with the bogus data model. That is the default, just so you can sort of get a look for how things work. You can see here we have several new categories. I don't remember if we talked about that in the last update, but it's pretty good stuff in that we now have them all displaying correctly, much like we used to in the file manager. But now we're not going to do the file manager. We're going to end up having these images, video, audio, and files URLs here essentially act like a file browser where they have tiles, or for all of these specific ones, it's going to be much more like, say, an Imgur site or an Instagram site, or on video, it's going to be much more like a tube site. On audio, it's going to be much more like a podcast site, all those sorts of things. And you know, the about page is basically just going to list all the users that are public, that have posting privileges, things like that. And you can see here, here's now a search bar. So let's go back to files, for example, and you can see the question mark sort of tells you what the search language is for your data model. In the dummy data model, it's just a regex. So let's take a look at that and see if we can just filter down to the hum. I'm trying to remember. I think it has to do something with the description. So maybe look at avatar. Yeah, so that's essentially what it is. It just searches the description. But once we end up actually using a search engine for the data backend, this will be a heck of a lot more powerful because we'll be able to use something like Lucene as the search format and things like that. So when we click here, normally you would see a little user icon here, but since we just made a new user and we don't yet have in the data backend the ability to actually edit users and so forth yet, it doesn't show anything for the user. But the link's there, so we can get back to the configuration page. That link normally doesn't show up at all if you don't have a user. You just have to know to hit the /login link, which is very much how tCMS already works. Anyways, so like I said, we've got the general settings page here. It only has 2 settings, and I kind of want to keep it that way. I like the simplicity of the idea where it's basically 0 configuration data model. Anyways, we go down here, we've got user management. You might notice that this is essentially just the posting interface because users, they all have profiles, so it's essentially just a posting interface here. You can open it up and it actually gives the individual posting interface for each of these things. And I actually need to fix that, but we're going to have lots of different things, like a file that's like a background for the user, a preview image, all those sorts of things. And I'm going to need to add an icon there as well, like for an avatar, as you can see. But anyways, yeah, avatar and wallpaper. And as you can see, that this edit interface needs work, but we'll get to that. The theme cloner also works. That was another tCMS 2 feature that we have there. It basically just copies a directory. It's not anything fancy. And then we can go over to the post interface, where now we have a few new features. Used to, all it did was the microblog stuff, and we have different pages for blogs. And you can see, you know, we've got a new field here, visibility for unlisted, private, and public. The idea here is to help people who want to monetize content or use email lists to deliver content so that they can see easily who is getting conversions on those sorts of messages and things like that. And it shows you every post that's made basically for whatever day. I don't have the pagination interface here like I have, say, on the rest of the stuff. We can go home here to Files, and it has a paginator that works now. We're basically abandoning the day-by-day approach that we used to do, and now we're going to do something like a pagination approach, But for the this interface, the submissions interface, I think what I'll end up doing is just putting in the pagination, and then we can dial back as far back as we need to fairly straightforwardly. But yeah, you can see we've got a different editor for the blog, same kind of interfaces, and a different interface for adding files and things like that. So there's not really a whole lot more to it other than that I've added some extra stuff like dynamic routes here. So if we go to post 420, posts, sorry. But yeah, as you can see, post 420, 404 not found. Now we have themed 404s and 403s and 401s and so forth. So let's go over here. Now you can actually go directly to any given post, and you've got the link to the file itself and then the link to the actual post itself. So like say if I go to files here, then I click here, it'll just bring me right to it. So the things that are coming next for tCMS is going to be actually getting a working data model, having this tile-based interface for files, and then having proper sitemap.xmls generated fairly straightforwardly. So probably going to have everything but the data model bits done sometime next week, and then theoretically I should be able to start moving on to making the search-based data backend, and todesian.net will probably get migrated not very long after that, and I'll probably have a theme for Troglodyne and migrate that from Hugo not long after that. And then the idea will be I'm probably going to build themes to basically make it obvious how you can do these sorts of business models, like I'm Mr. Dropshipper, or I'm Mr. Content Marketer Guy. And just basically have all the layouts that people are used to in those sort of business models already baked in, so that you don't have to do a whole lot of changing, and it's really straightforward to just slide into making money, because that's sort of what I want tCMS to actually do, is be a really good tool for me and for everybody else out there to actually just make money a lot faster and with a lot less headache, because it's like theming Hugo, theming WordPress. These are all a big pain in the butt, and that's why people pay for this stuff. And I'm like, theming things is actually not hard if you actually understand how CSS works and all that stuff. And as you can see, all the pages are actually pretty fast, and I haven't even done a static render on any of this stuff. And I think a lot of it just has to do with this really has some very, very simple DOM. We can actually, when we go into the todesian.net theme, I think I should do that here for you guys real quick. Let's change over the theme to todesian.net, commit the changes. And so right now, one problem I actually have is I actually have to restart Starman because it's a pre-fork server, and it won't actually update the theme until we do that. But as you can see, we've got basically the todesian.net theme here. Right now it's I need to zoom out for it to actually display a little properly, because I haven't really got the theme perfect yet. But you can see here, let's actually put it into mobile mode, and that'll basically get it just right. Here we go, tablet mode. So yeah, now it works pretty much exactly the same as it does on todesian.net, as you can see. And so then we can use the little hamburger menu to jump around and do whatever we need to. And it's all very much the same as it used to be with regard to how that actually works. And as you can see, when we unmobilize, you've got the right bar over there, and you can also have a footer here, and you can have a right bar. So you can do full holy grail with floating footers and headers with this framework very easily. So pretty much all of the relevant layouts that you actually want for web developing are going to be here and pretty straightforward to implement. So all right, guys, that's about it for now. Have a good weekend, and I will see you all later.